Okay, welcome to Emo Systems, and today I'm going to show you how to change a DC jack on a Acer. Looks like it is a Aspire 7741z-5731, and DC jack is bad, which is right there, you can see. And I'm going to be disassembling this laptop computer and changing out the DC jack. You have to change the DC jack if the laptop no longer charges or no longer gets power. Alright, so let's begin. I'm going to go ahead and take out the battery first. And we need to completely disassemble. So we're going to go ahead and remove the back panel. And we're going to remove the memory. And we're going to go ahead and remove the hard drive. And you're probably going to want to also remove the wireless antennas. I don't know if you can see that. I can zoom in for you. So you want to go ahead and remove the antenna wires. They just pop right off. And you're probably going to want to remove the actual wireless card itself. Set that aside. Go ahead and remove the CD-ROM drive. There'll be a screw right here. CD-ROM drive removed. And we're going to go ahead and remove all of the case screws. Looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. We'll go ahead and start in this corner. trouble. I'll go on and continue to the next one. And these screws here are a lot smaller, so you'll be able to tell the difference in reassembly, and just make sure that you put your screws maybe somewhere separate, so you can know which ones to put back in. Okay, let's go back to this screw here. It seems to want to be a pain. Okay. Oh. Went ahead and got all of the screws removed from the back panel. Now we want to flip it over and want to remove the keyboard. And I like to use either like a little plastic sponger, like so, or you can even use a a little metal sponger, but just be careful, you don't want to scratch the laptop or the keyboard. And we're going to go ahead and start removing the keyboard. There are some like little clamps here, and you can just press the clamp up to remove it from the keyboard, and just go to the next one. And they kind of push in, and just push them in, and then kind of pry the keyboard up. And I'm going to do that for all of them. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. And then that's going to pop the keyboard off. And then underneath the keyboard, you're going to have, looks like there's a piece of tape here that's taped over it. I'm going to remove that. And then there is a connector here, if you can see that. Let me zoom in for you. I zoomed a little slow, so bear with me. And you're going to want to go ahead and lift up on the connector, and that will free the keyboard flex cable, and the keyboard is free. And while you're in here, there's also another little flex cable here that you're going to want to remove. Just pops out, and then zoom out. There's also going to be another one right here, that you're going to want to pop off. You can see that. There you go. And then there is another one on the right side. I like to use my plastic sponger with this, so I don't break any of these little connectors, because they are very, very delicate connectors. You just got to be extremely careful with them, because you don't want to break one of them. Actually, I'm going to switch to my metal one here. It's got a little bit more power. And that one's been removed. Now, on the top of the keyboard compartment, there's some more screws that attach to the motherboard. Let me zoom out so you can see the whole thing. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and remove those. And you see some of these videos on YouTube where they're using like a little drill, you know, to take some of these delicate screws out. And I wouldn't recommend using a drill, you know, just saying, because some of the torque on it could be set a little high, and you can damage some of your components on some of these delicate repairs. Alright, so now that we have all the screws removed, we're going to go ahead and pop the top cover off. Looks like I forgot a screw. So if the top cover doesn't pop off, don't force it. Go back and recheck your work and make sure that you've got every little screw removed. I forgot this little tiny case screw. So just make sure you double check that. Okay. So let's go ahead and remove top cover. And now that we have the top cover removed, it's going to give you a nice view of the logic board itself. Now with this particular repair, as you can see, some of these repairs will require you to remove the entire logic board, and some of them don't. And we're lucky on this one that we don't actually have to remove the logic board to replace the DC power jack. So go ahead and get a little tighter. Okay, and as you can see, the DC jack is the type that just plugs in. And a lot of different models will have DC jacks that you actually have to solder. And we do solder a lot of the DC power jacks here at Emo Systems, and we do replace both. But this is an actual easier repair than having to actually solder it in, because we can just unplug it and unplug the old one and plug in the new one. So let's go ahead and get the old one out. Okay, there's a piece of tape here. It's like it's being held on by a piece of tape. So we're just going to lift up on this piece of tape and peel it out. And the power jack pop right out, like so. And then it's actually plugged in to the logic board right here. You're going to want to remove that to get the jack all the way out. You start trying to use a plastic sponger, but it might need a little more force. So just be very gentle with it. Don't be in a hurry. And just work it out. And pop. There it is. And it really doesn't look like there's too much really wrong with it. But looks can be deceiving with some of these power jacks. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get our new power jack. And we're going to go ahead and plug it in the way that the other one came out. So you want to do that side up, you can see. And when we put this jack back in, there should be a little bit of writing on the outside of the jack. Just tuck the little cable in here, and you want to have the writing. Oops, I guess I moved it on you. Sorry about that. You want to have the writing, which is right here, facing up when you put the jack back in. So you make sure you got it the right way up. Let me tuck this cable a little bit better here so I'm not. Make sure you just tuck it in, get all the excess kind of out of the way. So, and then go ahead and put the little piece of tape back over it. Put that in place. And then we're going to go ahead and start the reassembly process of this laptop. And you probably want to make sure that you don't completely reassemble the laptop before you test it, just in case something, you know, doesn't work right, or you forgot something, or I always like to make sure that it works before I put the whole laptop back together again. So, all right, so we're going to go ahead and put the top panel back on the laptop. Well, it looks like this fan may need a little cleaning too while we're in here. So before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and clean out this fan a little bit. Okay, now we got a nice clean fan. Let's go ahead and start reassembling. Pop this guy back on here. put some of these cables back in. Let's start with this guy over here. Sorry about the angle of the camera. I should probably have the camera on the other side, give you guys a better look at what I'm doing. But basically, you're just going to do what you did before in reverse. Just pop the stuff back in. I like to use my little sponger to kind of push the little connection bars back in. And I don't exactly remember what they're called. I do know what they're called, but I just can't remember it at this moment exactly what these connectors are called. I should probably know that for this video. Okay, so you got those in, and before I put these screws back in here, I want to go ahead and put the keyboard back on, because we're just gonna do like a power. We're just gonna power it up and just make sure that it works. I'm gonna pop the keyboard back in the way that we took it off, and we're gonna push down the little connector that I forgot what it's called, and there we go. And just, you don't have to kind of push the keyboard all the way in for now. And this customer brought in, it looks like, a universal power adapter that I think that they probably thought that their power adapter might have been bad. So I think they went out and they bought this power adapter, and I don't recommend doing this, especially. You want to get a universal power adapter that has the automatic voltage selector. This has one that you actually manually adjust to the different voltages. So I don't really recommend using one of these. You always want to try to get the actual original factory power adapter when you're replacing these power adapters, because you can cause different power spikes and you can damage some of your components by using these, because if you don't have this set right and you have it set to like an over voltage, you can actually damage your logic board. So don't recommend using that. So I'm going to get my other universal power adapter. Okay, so we got the top keyboard back on and the top case. And what I'm going to do is I went ahead and got my universal adapter, which automatically will recognize the voltage for laptop, so it's much more safer. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and plug in the connection, and go ahead and let's hit the power button. And good news, it powers on. That's always a happy thing, is when it actually powers on. So you know there's usually no damage with the logic board, and nothing is coming up on the screen. So don't freak out. You usually just have to put maybe one of these memory chips back in here. I don't know why there's a piece of tape on this piece of memory. It's odd. I'm going to go ahead and put the memory back in. And we're going to plug the power back in. And if you see, we power it on and it's booting up, looking for the hard drive. So basically all you got to do now is reassemble, do everything in reverse, and reassemble the laptop the way that you took it took it apart, and you can refer back to this video on how to do this. I own a computer repair shop in Brooksville, Florida, and if you would like us to do this for you, you can go ahead and log on to the website and give us a call. You can drop off your laptop at our shop, or you can mail it in through our mail-in program. Thanks for watching the video, and have a nice day.